When I was a kid, I was in this really cool church in Brisbane, and I remember a couple of people from that church who were amazing people that looked after me when I was a kid, because my parents would often get there like really, really early because they were on sound and worship. And so I'd just roam the church, and these lovely people who were a lot older than me would sometimes look after me. One of them was a guy called Mr. Boone. He would always be on welcome every single week. Every single week he would be on welcome, and every time a kid came in, he would give them a lolly. That's all I remember of him. I just remember he would give us a lolly every time, and if he liked you, you'd get 2 lollies. It was great. It was awesome, and it was such a lovely memory from my childhood. The other was a man named Mr. Sargent. Mr. Sargent was the nicest guy. He was so nice, and he would just chat to you like you were older than you were, and he was just this kind man who would always just speak such life into anyone within the church. He just seemed like a nice guy, and that's really all I ever noticed about him. Was he would always just speak to me. He would talk to me as I was growing up, and he was just a nice person, and he would do that with anyone in the church going through anything. And that was all I knew about him. And then we moved to Sydney, and at some point I decided I wanted to do ministry and made it into Bible college. And he found out about that, and he sent me a book, and he had written in it about how proud he was of me and that he was really excited for everything God was doing in my life. And it was such a cool sort of thing. And a couple of years later, he passed away, and we went to his funeral, and there was so many people there. The church was completely packed, and there was a second room set aside for people. And I said to my parents, how is he so well known? And they said to me, he is actually one of the big Christian leaders in Brisbane that I just never knew that was a thing he did. He was on radio shows talking about Jesus all the time. He wrote books. He was this incredible person, but I only ever knew him as Mr. Sargent, the nice man who would talk to me. I remember going, wow, this person who seemed so important was just a nice old man to me when I was a kid, and he was fine with that. He loved seeing me, excel in things and do well, and loved to support me even when I hadn't seen him in years. It was beautiful. It was such a way in which I learnt what leaders were like, and I learnt what people who loved Jesus were like. Just someone who cared about people, and didn't matter how important he was in what he did, he just loved. Jesus in John 13 is at the Passover, and it's the moment before his death. And in the moments before his death at Passover, he waits till everyone's in the room. He goes out, he grabs a bowl and a towel, and he starts washing his disciples' feet. Now, this is pretty common practice that a servant would come and wash the feet of people before they went into dinner, and it would have been weird to the disciples that no one had ever done it, and suddenly the person who is their teacher and their master is just washing their feet, the thing that a servant does. And, Peter, being Peter, goes, "You can't do this, Lord. Please do not wash my feet." And Jesus says, "No, you are not clean, and I need to clean you." And it's symbolism for what is about to happen in his death and resurrection, of what he does for us when he forgives our sins, as he cleans us of our sin. But it's a beautiful picture of a leader and a person who is so kind-hearted and servant-hearted that he is willing to do something so lowly because he loves his friends and his disciples. And it's something about the way the Christian experience works, where it's not about how great you are. It's not about your ego or your pride. Really, it's about showing the Father's love. And Jesus' example is, I can be in front of 5,000 people talking, or I can be in a room with 5 people, but I love the people I am with, and I am willing to show that love to them, no matter how silly or how lowly it seems. And there's something beautiful about that to me. And, it's been a challenge. When I was growing up, I thought being in charge of people meant that you get to tell them what to do. And there was a bit of arrogance and pride that comes with that. I thought preaching was about telling people what it was meant to be. But Jesus shows us that it's not about that stuff. That even the greatest among us can humbly serve. Because we are all here because the Father first loved. And we're just here to show that the Father loves. And so Jesus gives us the perfect example of serving for anyone, from the top to the bottom. Everyone is equal in the eyes of the Father. And if you can't serve humbly, and if you can't love humbly, then you can't do many things. Because Jesus shows us that you need to serve the people you love.
Hey guys, thanks for watching. Please leave a like and a comment. And if you haven't already, please go press that subscribe button, put the bell icon on, and we'll see you in the next video.